Some of you have asked me, how do you know what code to write when you're trying to solve some kind of problem or when you're trying to get this Scratch guy to do something cool? And so I figured I would show you. Let's just say I want to make this little Scratch guy move over to here and then just start spinning forever. So I've never done this before. I don't know right now what the code is going to be, but I'll show you my process for coming up with the right code. And the key is to test often. So I'll show you what that means. I know, because I programmed in Scratch before, that I usually want to have a when this flag gets clicked, just to start things off. Now, I said test often, so I can test this. Of course, nothing will happen yet, but it's still good practice just to see if things are working. You're going to see me hit this button a whole bunch of times. Every time I hit this button, I'm testing. So what's the first thing I want to happen? Well, I think I want the Scratch guy to start going this way, right? So I look through my available options and move 10 steps. How about that? So now I test it. Oh, hey, it moved. All right, that's kind of what I want, but really I want him to move farther and then to start spinning. So then I think to myself, okay, well, this was good. He moved once. Now I want that to happen a few more times. So I know, because I've been programming for a while, that what I want is some kind of loop. So I drag in the repeat block. So now I know it's going to move 10 steps and it's going to do that 10 times. And guess what I do now? I test. Hey, so that's okay, but then I noticed, because I tested, that he didn't go far enough. I wanted him to go here. So I pull him back, and I go over to my code again, and I try to decide how should I change it. And I think the easiest thing would be to make it repeat a few more times. So let's try 30 instead of 10. And what am I going to do now? Test. Hey, that's actually perfect. So now I have him moving over, and after that I want him to start spinning. So what do I do now? I look through my motion. Oh, hey, how about turn 15 degrees? That seems like what I want him to do after he moves over. So I move that after the loop that moves him. So now, what do? Guess. If you guessed, press this button, you're right. So he went over there and he turned a little bit. That's kind of what I wanted, but I want him to keep turning. Let me just test it one more time. Oh, whoa, now something weird is happening. I didn't actually expect this to happen. So, because the little guy has turned from the last time I ran it, every time I run it after that, he's moving in the wrong direction. So I don't like that, because that, I want him to move over here in a straight line every time and then to spin. So I have to fix this problem. I didn't even know this would be a problem until just now. So I have to come up with a solution. And I think the easiest solution might be to point him in exactly the right direction before he starts moving. So I can drag this point in direction to be the first line in my program. Now, I didn't realize that should be the first line in my program until I'd started writing it, but that's okay. You don't have to write your code in order. Most people don't write their code in order. They're always adding in new lines all the time. So now I test. Oh, great. So that's what I want once again. Or at least it's closer. Points him in the right direction, and then he moves to the right spot. So now the question is, how do I get him to keep spinning? Well, again, I think we want a loop. And since I want him to keep spinning forever, I'm going to use a forever loop. So he'll keep turning forever. Let's see if that works. Perfect. So this is exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted him to start over here and then to move over and start spinning. And that's exactly what he does. Now, I'd never written that code before, and I didn't know before I started exactly what the code would look like. I had no idea what the code would look like until I started trying things and I started testing and I solved problems as they came up. And that's what you should be doing too.